Well, hello there, Dragoncast OA crossover bonus episode fans. I'm Jamie East, and look who it is. It's Chris Mandle. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. Yeah, I've just swallowed a baby bird with my vitamins this morning.
You're gorgeous.
Raring to go.
It's an enigma wrapped in a riddle, enveloped in a mystery, isn't it? How you getting on?
Yes.
A lot went on in this episode.
Good.
Actually. Lot.
Well,
went
I think
on.
it's my favorite episode
Good,
of the
because
season.
the trajectory is good for you. Then you're enjoying it more and more.
Yeah. I found last episode. Oh no, I actually really liked the last episode. I actually think the first episode or the second, they were hard. That was hard work.
Yeah.
But really enjoyed it. It's really, this show just doesn't let up. It just is. There's so much revealed this episode. You told me last week this would be a big answering a lot of questions. I won't claim to be like fluent in everything.
It's starting to unfurl
about,
itself. It's starting to show a bit of it's hitching its skirt up a tiny bit, isn't it? Yeah.
So Hap, who is Jason Isaacs' character, Hap, whatever he's called, Hap. He is sort of gassing the subjects.
You made a good claim at this, at what he was doing, right? I think you sussed.
Trying to invoke near-death experiences, that was my guess. But instead, he's actually, kind of partially killing them.
Well, he's doing exactly that. He's trying to record the soundscape of people's NDEs, near-death experiences, by drowning them and then bringing them back to life in a controlled environment, which is just like... I mean, it's fucked up.
Fucking chaotic. And what we found out is that they have all sort of been killed like several times.
Yeah, multiple times.
Effectively. But he can bring them back? Is he able to do that? Or is it... No. I'll correct myself. Because they've had NDEs, they are more capable of surviving
they're more
things that would kill ordinary people.
Yeah, they know not to go too near the light, I think is the insinuation. But
so where they go when they're dying is they know... Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
They want to see what this supposed halfway house is, which in, and I don't know if it's the same. I can't remember if we ever find out if it's the same for everybody or if it's not the same for everybody. But is this kind of like the kind of LED twinkly light kind of room at the Tate Modern, which is weirdly inhabited by Logan.
Oh my God,
Logan Roy's wife
from Succession. Is it called Dagmar someone? We should check that out.
We should check that out, actually. That's very rude of me not to do that.
Was that her in the last
episode?
2 episodes ago?
100%.
Did not recognise her last time, but this time I just wanted her to be like Logan.
Hiam Abbas is her name, and apologies if I've completely mangled that, which I will. She's Israeli. She was in Munich, the amazing film Munich, and oh my God, she's been in a lot of stuff, as you would imagine.
Is she? Who am I thinking? Why did I think she was called Dagmar? Is that a character she plays in something?
No, Dagmar was something from the episode of Game of Thrones that we've just discussed.
I know, but isn't there a Dagmar?
She plays Marcia Roy in that. She plays, and her character in the OA is called Khatun.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's focus on what happened in this episode and not the names that float around my subconscious when I'm in the light. So basically, Hep is sort of trying to get Hap. Sorry, I'm confusing him with hepatitis. He is trying to capture like a kind of a body of work of like what they experience, what the sound is when they are in one of these states for some purpose. And this episode, a lot of it was about Homer, which is like a focus that we've not really had much of this point. And I thought it was just beautifully done. I mean, it's really... We've got this... the OA... First of all, we heard why it's the OA, because it's OA, and which I think is kind of neat.
Yeah.
There was a sort of illusion.
There's an illusion.
But also, she swallowed a baby bird, which is part of some ritual that I can't quite understand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we really need to... I don't think we need to understand that. It's all about swallowing something living or something like that. There is some kind of...
And when Homer is in his state, the situation he's in is sort of like corridors of a hospital almost. He's being pursued. He finds this giant fish tank, which is in the shape of the cell that they're in.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Sort of pentagonal. He takes a fish and swallows it, and that seems to have like opened something in him, because he did this hand gesture that we've seen Prairie do, right?
Homework.
And at the very
homework.
Is homework to do with Homer?
No, homework is to do with the hand signal.
So, because at the end of the episode, his looked like an O, because it then went into OA.
Yeah.
So I was like, are they spelling something out? There's 5 of them.
There was, and I'm not going to give it away.
I need to remember.
There was huge. There was a line, kind of Game of Thrones-esque. We've just come off the back of recording Game of Thrones. You remember we were talking in the Game of Thrones episode about Bran's vision about there were drowned men everywhere. There was a very similar line in the OA, which is a spoiler for the whole season. Like a proper kind.
There was something about preventing a catastrophe in this episode. I think they have to these 5 people have to come together to stop something happening.
Maybe.
That was your expression was very, that's kind of it. But they must spell something out or something.
Maybe.
But if his letter is O, I can't remember Prairie's,
but
I thought it was kind of
it's not a letter.
Is it not? They're not letters. I thought they were spelling out Homer.
No, it's but like, look, it will reveal itself more next week. But it's there are still seeds of doubt in there all the way through. Is she just a victim of concussion? Is she imagining it all? I think we can see now why she's so obsessed with Homer, because in her view, like this period of time that went on in episode 4 was years and years and years of them, almost like Groundhog Day-esque, with Bill Murray's trying to work out to rob the bank, and kind of like the annoying insurance salesman.
Yeah.
Over years and years, he finesses this kind of this path that they have to go through, and we see Homer doing that in as much as that he has to train himself to die and not panic at being drowned in that tank, because every time he starts to panic, Hap detects his heartbeat and then gives him this mysterious gas, which is I think like they get roofied, right? It's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Where they forget what's happened. It doesn't desensitize, it doesn't knock them out. It just makes them forget what's happened, because
it makes them compliant. Though, because when Prairie was gassed,
which I think is roofie,
she was able
right?
to.
Isn't that what roofie does? I guess.
It must be. They called it Devil's Breath, which I thought was just like an amazing name for it sounds like a weed strain or something, doesn't it?
It really does.
But like my understanding was that Homer faked being gassed, but then he can't fake panic when he's in that sort of helmet full of water.
That's right. Yeah.
So
he doesn't fake, but he fakes being gassed because Sharon Van Etten and the OA have got incredible lung power. They can suck, which is the only bit where I was a bit like, where they can actually suck the gas before it reaches Homer on the floor, which was a bit kind of like, I'm not sure about that myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he can fake that, but he can't.
And Jason Isaacs sees the responses on the heart monitor. He's like, oh shit, the gas hasn't like worked it, so he kind of gasses him a bit more, right, to make it stick. But I thought that just that sequence where Homer's getting strapped into that device and he doesn't know what's happening, but I kind of, maybe from some sort of pictures, I knew that there was some helmet full of water in this show, and I was like, oh, that's how they invoke, that's how he kills them.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's really stressful. I mean, I found that really fucking stressful when he's like, it's filling up with water and he's opened his lungs and he's sort of gasping for air. But you mentioned that sort of, there's an almost evangelical feel. I mean, I started to think when I was watching this episode, like, is this whole thing the wrong way round, where we think they're alive communicating with the afterlife, but actually maybe they're in some sort of purgatory and they're trying to get back out into the real world? Because they talk a lot about just this idea of being born again, but also I just kept thinking that maybe the real twist is that this is the opposite of what it appears. But I just think it's really smart, and I think it's a show that has a really clear idea of what the rules are and that interiority. And I think that is when you have a good show on your hands, when you understand like, the rules
100%.
and the system.
100%.
When you get a show that doesn't work, it's usually because not every character is kind of part of the same landscape or part of the same world, and it just starts to feel a bit like rough. And this just feels, just this sense that there was a scene with Prairie and Homer after he'd come back from one of his sessions, and she was like, I know it sounds crazy, but like she was sort of talking to him about what she knows about this space, and he starts to get it as well. And it just feels very like, they could have come across as really deranged, but it does seem rooted in some sort of like logic.
There was a great, I think was that episode called was Away. The episode was called Away, wasn't it? But there was a great scene with Elizabeth, the teacher, where she talks to someone, I can't remember who it was, about her brother. She's
inherited all of his money, right?
All of his money, and they're clearing out his place, and there's all this stuff going on. She starts talking about a book called The Incredible Mr. Limpet, which was a really good, again, kind of like for rewatchers and people who dive into it. If you go and like Google that, it's about where a dying father tells his son about how he'll turn into a big fish when he dies and swim away. It's like layered. It's an actual film with Don. I think they reference it. Don Knotts. So okay, he played Chicken Little. Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cool. Also, big shout out to Riz Ahmed as
oh my god, I know,
as a counsellor. I'd completely forgot that he was in this as well.
So this would be before he did
the Night Of.
That show
The Night Of, which was great. Really good series. Great HBO miniseries.
He's great. He's kind of one of my favorite. This is quite niche. He's one of my favorite British actors doing American accents because he just sounds like a totally different person.
He's really good at it.
He's good at it, isn't he?
Very, very good. And I mean, the big takeaway is that now Prairie is pretending to be blind for Hap. She can the hit that he gave her on the head with the shovel at the end of the previous episode brought her vision back, which is like, obviously like a huge moment. Question though, whose favourite food is pretzels?
I mean, that's just silly.
I mean, out of all the foods in the world, she mentions
all the foods.
Like pretzels, really?
They're an absolute chore to eat as well.
Well, there's the two pretzels. There's the nibbles that Britain were used to, which are just weird. But then there's like
the American ones.
There's the American.
They're
talking like the bready ones, aren't they? That you get from like where you go to Westfield and they've got like cinnamon sugar on, which are actually quite nice.
Yeah. I like the like the proper like Bavarian ones. They like literally take like 45 minutes to eat because they're so dry. And I remember just going on this stag do to like Munich, and they just have these ladies walking around with like giant tankards, and then on their belts they have like a belt across their chest. They have all these pretzels, and they just sort of like unclip them or pass them over. But they're like that.
And they're like crisp or like doughy.
They're doughy. They're really doughy, but they're just it's like eating like a baguette, just of an afternoon.
Which
great.
I do quite often. Lovely.
Yes.
So no, enjoyed it. It's really building up now, and the last 2 minutes kind of really gave you a sense of where it's heading.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. So Michael, I have a question though, which is there needs to be 5 of them. Right, to like avert this thing, but there's 4 of them in the compound, isn't there? So they're missing someone. So someone must either come in, or maybe Hap is the 5th person.
Nope. You don't want me to tell. Think about it.
No, I don't want you to tell me, but also, am I right to have noticed that?
So you're right. You're right. There aren't enough people in the cells to do that.
Yeah.
So what does she need them to do? So she needs 5 people.
Yeah.
To do what? To avert a disaster.
Yeah, to come together and do something.
Is there any other part of the show where she's with 5 people?
Oh, right. Of course. I thought...
No, so that...
But isn't there more than 5 people in the present timeline?
There's the young gender fluid person.
There's the teacher.
There's the thief. There's
the really smart guy.
There's the smart guy, and then there's an...
Oh yeah, there is 5. Okay, so can anyone do? It doesn't have to be the people in the cages that have to do the thing. Or...
Don't want me to tell you. This is.
No, I know.
It's not spoilery, but it's I think it will spoil the unwrapping of the story.
Maybe. Okay, and I'm enjoying this to record this in counterweight to Game of Thrones because I feel like I know it all with Game of Thrones. With this, I'm literally like walking.
I know it's a role reversal. You're
it's really interesting. Yeah, it's just really interesting. To do. But like my theory is that so she's got these 5 people gathered to try and do something, prevent something, stop something happening. But also, I wonder if the other people, like the other 3 people in the compound, are like still there, and she needs to like rescue them, maybe.
Who knows?
But it's really good, and I really just think it's just a pleasure to sort of watch it unfold, and I love not knowing what's going on. It's just quite.
It's the balance between it being slightly chaotic and like what the fuck is everyone talking about, and actually like really intriguing is well done. I think there's the right amount of nonsense in it. I think.
The other thing I guess I wanted to ask, you mentioned Prairie getting her vision back. So she was hit quite badly in the head by
Hap.
When she ran away.
Yep.
And did he do that to try and get an NDE out of her, or was it just to stop her running away?
I think it was just to stop her running away.
And it was so intense that it brought her vision back.
I think she lost her vision in the car crash. I don't think that had anything really to do with the NDA. I think it's just she was told that Khartoum took her vision away. That was what she paid.
Yes,
she
paid
to return with her eyesight.
With her eyes.
There wasn't. She didn't visit Khartoum again whilst she was hit on the head, or did she? Was that what we saw at the beginning?
I think she did because she had that door where her father was, and she chose not to go.
So she swapped it. That was the thing, wasn't it? She in payment for not choosing her father, she got her eyesight back.
Right, that's right. That's kind of what I thought.
That's the way I took it, for sure. Amazing.
It's really, really engaging and really exciting, and I'm really great choice. I just really can't wait to see where it goes.
No, I can't wait for you to see it either because it's mental. It's really mental. And a few people commenting as well. Juice Dog, thanks Juice Dog. Actually loving the OA so far. Only watching as these episodes come up, otherwise I'll end up going miles ahead. That's the difficulty, isn't it? Get in touch, dragoncast@daftdoris.com, or just tweet us at dragoncast_pod. Or if you're watching this, then stick it in the comments below, and we'd love to hear what you have to think. What you think of the show. It's amazing. Chris, until then.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what that means. You will. You will, my child.
I haven't got a good sign off based on this show.
We haven't. Maybe we just need to swallow a bird.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next
week.
Later,
haters. Bye.